people. We are back. A2TP podcast, episode 220. We are back in the building for another episode of us. Episode 220. It's your boy, International Walk.
It's your girl, Toxical, who's with the mostest.
And we are back. You know the platforms. Go there, like, subscribe, comment, share, do all that fun stuff. If y'all fuck with us, we will fuck with y'all. Special shout out to all the 9 million people that listen to us every week. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all for stopping in and fucking with us. We just can't get enough of y'all energy, so thank you. Let's get right to the show. How are you?
I am okay. I am honestly, I'm probably like an 8, just because I know physical is at the end, but you know, just
Don't
not feeling. I'm not gonna make you cry, baby.
I just don't like when you don't.
Just not feeling my best self, and it got me a little worried because I don't know like what's going on with me. So that, you know, it's a little. I'll be lying if I said that wasn't on my mind. So yeah, I'm probably like an 8, but I'm grateful for you and your support and your love and your comfort. You've come a long way in being. You have like almost aggressive reaction when I'm not feeling well, and I know it's out of a place of love, almost like when somebody like takes a kid and like shake them, like get yourself together, and it's not because they don't care, it's just like they want them to be. You don't physically do that, but you kind of emotionally do that, like.
I know what you're talking about.
So much better.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't think it's that. I initially get upset because I think of, and maybe this isn't right to do, but I think, like, what did you do? Not eat? Like, you didn't, like, something you did, you didn't take care of yourself because you don't usually just fall sick. So it's like, what did you go 10 hours without eating? Like, what did you do? Like, what's wrong? Like, that's what I be thinking first off. I don't think, like, you threw yourself down the steps or some shit.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
Okay, I don't mean, like, to come off like that. It's just my energy be like it's damn, almost, like, why are you sitting there? You probably been up since 8 o'clock on your phone and it's 1:30 and you know you ain't ate shit and then you talking about you got a headache. Like, most people will be falling over.
Yeah, but again, thank you for your support, and I'm just, me and God just been having some conversations, and I'm trusting in Him.
So have I.
Yeah, I'm just trusting in Him, and that's that. But yeah, I'm feeling like an 8 mentally. Finances an 8 always. Thank God for His blessings. Work is a 10. Work is really good. Got some great news today about work.
Couldn't wait to get to that one.
Well, you know, it always feels good to be appreciated I do my job because I don't know, I'm a good worker. Like any job that I have, I'm going to do great at it. Now, if I don't like it anymore, I'm still going to do great until I find something else. But I'm not one of them people that need like a constant pat on the back. Like, I like to work good.
What if you got a job and you wasn't good at it? Does that ever happen when you got a job throughout your whole work history and you just was like, I want this job, and when you got it, you realize I'm trying hard, but I'm not that good at this?
The only job that I felt like I wasn't, I can't say retail because I didn't want to be good at it. Like,
oh, that don't count if you wasn't trying. That's why I said,
yeah, and like I lasted one day.
You were trying, but you just realized, look, I'm not that good at this, even though I am trying. The
only job I would say when I was in telemarketing, but I just felt like I'm not, not like I was gonna say, not like I'm some angel, you know, Mary, mother of Jesus, but I'm not gonna say a dishonest person, because it's not that it was dishonest. It was like like I'm not a naggy person, like a car salesman, you know. But I think there's sometimes a bit of dishonesty in that. Where I was doing telemarketing, this is dating myself. It was getting businesses like your local restaurants and stuff to accept credit cards. Think about what restaurants don't accept credit cards now, but back then everybody wasn't. So it was like calling to get them to lease the equipment that would allow them to accept credit cards. This was in 2001, 2002 actually. So, you know, I just wasn't good at it. Like, I think I maybe had got like I forget what they used to call them. Like, I was there from April to June, and I just was like, I'm not coming back. Like, and the crazy thing is, we used to bet on people because people used to come and leave at lunch. or some people would come for one day and never come back. So when new people would come, we would bet, like, not no real money, but like
$5 lunch.
Were they going to come back? Because so many people didn't. I stuck it, and it was some people who had been there for years. I stuck with it for 2 months, and I remember going into the supervisor, manager, whoever office, and like basically he was like, "So you just gonna be a quitter? And I was like, yeah." Like, I'm okay with myself and knowing, like, this ain't for me. Like, I'm not coming back no more.
It was painting for me.
Painting?
Yeah.
You never, even in our house, you don't want to be a painter.
Job having a painter, and I remember painting graffiti off of walls, and I realized I'm not good at this. Like, I don't like doing this. And I did it when I used to, like, fix up houses for Bush. I used to paint then, and it was like, I am not good at this at all. I don't like it.
Yeah, and it like, I'm not afraid to talk to people, but if somebody tell me no, I don't want to nag people and get on their nerves. You
got to go to your rebuttal book and all that shit.
Exactly. They had a rebuttal for everything. And I think if it's something I truly believe in, but you calling people and they like, this is our busiest lunch hour, you're calling me with this? Sorry. But like, I'm going to hang up. But it was just a mess. So anyway, but yeah, work is a 10. Physically, I'm an 8. Yeah, I'm an 8, and that's that. I don't want to get emotional, but I'm an 8. How are you?
I'm good. Mentally, I feel like a 9. Better than I was yesterday, so I give myself a point. Yesterday I was an 8. Finances is an 8. Always leaving room for growth to be, get our blessings and be a blessing to others. Work is a 9. Getting to the end of my job, I'm still looking for like a definite ending date. Just so I can have some me time.
Real funny. I was talking to our nephew, our youngest, and my baby, he calls me just about every day, and he asks where you were. He asks, if you had went to work today. I said, he goes to work every day. He gonna say he never gets a break. So I was like, we don't get winter break and spring break like you do. I was like, he can take off if he want, but he don't. I said, we get, some of the holidays. I was telling him what holidays, but he was like, Uncle Mark went to work again? Like, yeah.
Go a lot, bro.
Yeah, he went to work again.
Yeah, gotta go a lot. It's like my second home.
Yeah.
So yeah, work is like a 9. And just seeing the job come together with the finishes and all that stuff, it starts this, this pile of shit that you had, it's starting to shine up a little bit. So that's always makes you feel good. Plus people start coming and congratulating you and liking you and all that stuff. And I want to buck the fuck out of there before punch list. Because it's like you got this baby you had for 4 months, and then everybody, 9 people want to walk around and tell you how ugly your baby is. And it's like, fuck y'all. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
or
fuck
pointing out, like, your baby got a little dimple
like,
right
kiss
there.
my ass. Y'all said y'all like it. Now y'all want to talk about his skin.
Yeah. Your baby fingers look funny.
So yeah, looking forward to that and not looking forward to that. Physically, I feel like a 10. I'm just finishing up my little small rehab. I get cleared by the doctor next week for my hernia surgery. And I'm just back at it, hard. Not full throttle where, I could hurt myself, but easily, but just doing more than I'm doing now than walking. So I want to throw some weights around. Don't have to be heavy. Just want to rep it up a whole lot and just move around, I'm up to 35 minutes. Actually, I'm up to 45 minutes on a treadmill.
Walking.
Yeah, because it's just been like, all right, if that's all I can do,
make the best
do 5 more minutes. Let me do 10 more minutes. So I'm up to 45 minutes on that now. So hopefully that continues. I'd like to get to an hour. That's like because I see the calorie count. When you get to like 45 minutes, it'd be like almost 250 calories if you're doing just a flat surface, which I've been honest, and that's all I've been doing. But when you incline, obviously,
it's going to increase
to a whole lot more. Yeah.
My goal is to do 45 minutes on the treadmill, and then I want to do like 15 to 20 minutes with some weight stuff. So when I get there, that's my goal. And I'm sorry, not to pivot from what you were saying. It's like when people say man plans and God laughs, it's like I had different plans for this week for my body, and God was like, "You on my time, sis, chill."
Yeah.
And I'm listening, but it's like okay, this wasn't my plan. Like, I had it all mapped out in my head, and God was like, the Kimbe finger, oh.
Maybe something would have happened in the gym that we didn't want to.
Yeah,
So, we'll see. And we got a doctor's appointment, so I'm comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Wives and woes for the week?
Yeah. Ups and downs, stops and goes, blacks and whites, yeses and nos. What you got?
Well, I'll end on good news. So my woe was just, having a little what is it?
She had a vertigo episode, is what she had. And
we think.
Yeah. She had it's a vertigo episode. That we don't know if it was vertigo, but it's a vertigo episode.
Okay, yeah. I'm just having a hitch in my giddy up, just being thrown off kilter. Health is a luxury of life that you do not take for granted. Health, peace, rest,
air, water. Those
things, it's like as you get older, like the material things are great, but leave me naked and healthy, and I'm grateful for that. Like, so, just having you being thrown a little off kilter, it can be a little scary. So that was a woe moment for me. My wow is having my husband show up for me in the way that he did. That, like, he came in there like Batman, like out of nowhere. Not that I was surprised, but it just felt good. Like, yeah, that's him coming in here, and I just appreciate you, and I love you, and I'm happy that you didn't have to drive 50 miles. You
just would have had to drive 50 miles.
I know, but
I'll forever come to your aid, Tasha. That's not something you should be surprised about. Like, we're married. You're my wife. I promise you, I'd always take care of you. If something's wrong with you, something's wrong with us, something's wrong with me. So I'll always show up to your aid. Always.
I know you will, but it's in those moments. It's
it's like knowing you always. We could be in beef, like heavy beef. If you call
and we have been in situations.
Call and say you fucked up, I'm there. Like, without a hesitation, I'm there, because at that point, that shit don't matter. I just need her to be okay and not die or be hurt or some shit like that. So that none of that shit matters at that point.
Yeah, so again, it's like, I know you're going to feed me, but when I get food, I'm still happy. So it's like, I know you're going to be there for me, but when you show up, it's still...
food, I'm still happy. That was some greedy shit right there.
I'm just saying, like, I know you're going to do it, but when it happens, it still feels good. And it's just like, in those most vulnerable moments to, like, see your person, it's like, yeah, it feels good. So
to piggyback, my... was just, get a call from my wife that she ain't feeling good, and I'm going to urgent care, so it's like I gotta stop what I'm doing and get there to make sure she okay, and she's sitting here next to me, she's okay. But yeah, so that's a whoa. I didn't like that feeling this week. And then obviously when she gets home, I'm worried about her. I gotta tend to her, I'm watching her, I'm listening out for her, I'm watching her in her sleep. So, and then all those things affect me too. I gotta get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I also feel a duty to make sure she breathing, make sure she's straight, make sure she ain't sweating, the same shit she do for me. So I feel a duty to do that stuff. So it's just been a crazy week. And then my wow is that she's just here. She's good. She's fit. Not that we thought she was dying or no shit like that.
I know what was happening.
We keep saying she here, but it seems like it's cool. We just didn't know what was wrong with her.
Yeah.
And when you don't know what's wrong, your mind can speculate. And it's like, are you coming down with the flu? No, I don't have flu symptoms. Do you have a fever? No. It's like, okay,
well, my body is like failing me right now.
Yeah, like what the hell is wrong? So it's just one of them situations.
Like, I swear, if I had drank, I thought to myself too, if I had drank like a water in my car or something, I would have thought somebody got in my car and roofied me or something the way I felt. But I knew that I hadn't ingested anything.
Right. Well, not that you know of. I mean, nobody knows about anything. I've heard stories of people injecting water in the supermarket. So I've seen stories of people getting caught doing that shit.
I did have a water bottle in the car.
Anything is possible.
Oh, don't say that. Oh,
anything is possible. But to move on, That's my
thank
wow.
God
That's
we're
my
here. I'm
wow.
here to help you.
We're good. Let's start the show. What was I about to say? Oh, I read a story today. HIV is not a terminal illness no more. What's your thoughts? We grew up in the 80s. Well, we were kids in the 80s. We grew up in the 90s where AIDS was a death sentence. It was like we knew people who might have gotten AIDS, and we probably, back then, I seen 2 people spiral out of AIDS within a year. And it was like real bad, like spots on their face. They was dying. It seemed like they had no medicine for it, and them people went fast.
Yeah.
But now, I think in 2025, it's not a terminal illness. And I've been hearing for 15 years that, you know, the AIDS disease has something to do with T cells. You see Magic Johnson, and you see, like, you know, these commercials where they say you can not test positive anymore. Just what's your thoughts on, do you think this has just happened, or this is something that they probably waited a decade to say?
I think they waited because I remember in 2002, 2003-ish, I worked with this guy temporarily at the company I was at for 9 years, but I started as a temp and he did too. Now he ended up going his way, and I'll never forget him saying that he had HIV, but it was undetectable because of him taking his medicine. At that time, I thought, this is a load of crap. Like, I mean, I wasn't worried about me. Like, he's a gay man. He was a gay. I mean, that shouldn't be assumed as like only gay men get it. But he is a gay man. I don't know what his situation is now as far as if he's alive or not. But I remember when him saying it and thinking like, wow, like that's crazy. In my mind, I'm thinking that's crazy, and he's probably going out here being with people, spewing this, but really infecting them, because I'm just thinking that's unbelievable. But now here we are, literally 12, 13 years later, and we're hit. Like, we see it in Magic Johnson.
That was a thing too then, like, you had to be wary of people out there intentionally infecting people.
Yeah. So hearing him say that and now hearing it now, it's like, oh, like, it's not, I think what had to happen, the stigma had to be taken away for people to even say, I want to get tested, and if I'm positive, I want the medicine. I think so many people weren't getting tested, so they were dying because of the disease, but less people could have died if the stigma wasn't there and they got tested.
Right.
So many people were like, I don't even want to be tested, so I don't even have the chance.
And nobody knowing.
Exactly. I don't even have the chance to take the medicine to survive. So I think now that they kind of broke that stigma. Now, on the other end, and this might be controversial, but I'm going to say it anyways, this is how I feel. I feel like it may contribute to the promiscuity of people, because now that danger is not at as high of a level as it was. I think before, when people just thought it was a death sentence, it may have caused them to be more cautious in their activities. But now that people feel like, oh, well, I can just take this medicine and I'm going to be like, I can get it, but I'm going to still be all right and I'm not going to die from it, then I could, I'm not as cautious about what I'm doing.
But it was a stigma in the beginning that it was almost seemed like people thought they could dodge it if they didn't sleep with a dirty girl, because they thought it was dirty people who shared needles, and gay men. So it was like, if I ain't doing none of that,
dirty as in the sense of dirty, or like just whorish, like
whorish.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
Not like dirt on your skin.
No, that's I just wanted to confirm.
No,
okay,
yeah,
so like fast girls.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I should have said nasty.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's where the stigma was in the beginning. Do you think the immune system is cured, or do you think that like the immune system is compromised for life, or do you think nowadays you can be it's curable, or it's just not terminal no more?
No.
Like, I don't if think... somebody is like, say if Magic Johnson stops taking his medication, do you think he'll get sick again?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know for sure, but I think that's exactly how it works. As long as you continue. Now, I think I have heard some people get to a certain point where they may be able to like step down their medication, so like maybe they don't need as strong of medication, right, or as much, so their medication regimen may change, but I don't think they get to a point where they ever can stop. I don't think. I don't know enough about it.
The system is compromised for life, even if they say, hey, the maximum T cells you can have is, I don't know, a number 8,000. You have 8,000. You have 100% immune, and then you go off your meds. You think you'll decline?
I think so. I think that's how it works. And I also think one of the things that I've heard like for years is that there's different strains of HIV. So if you have it, you stop taking your medication, I think not only will your T cells decline, but then if you're being promiscuous, you put yourself at risk for like a person who is currently an active infection, if that's what it's called, for them to now reinfect, or I don't know the right terminology, but to make you sicker. I think that can happen.
How you get these different strains.
Yeah, I think that can happen. So, but yeah, so I don't think it like goes away. It's scary though, because I just feel like in this day and age, okay, if you were with a woman and she told you, y'all went to the doctor and it was undetectable, like it came back HIV negative, but she told you like, I'm taking my medication, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I got it 20, maybe she was born with it, she got it from her, from her mom, but I'm taking my medication, but because I'm on my medication, it's undetectable, so you're not gonna get it. Would you still be with her? And like y'all went to the doctor together, and the doctor confirmed this. I can probably
be with you, but I'm never sleeping with you without protection. Yeah. Never. Yeah. Like I'm not rolling the dice with my life like that. I'm just not. And if you can't accept that, then we ain't gonna be together.
And what if she wanted to have a child? I'm accepting you.
Well, you better do it a different way, like me in a cup, and then you. And I don't know how comfortable I feel about that. The baby might have AIDS. But, I don't know. You're the mother. I don't know how comfortable I feel about that. And just knowing I ain't rolling the dice with. So we probably wouldn't be together.
Or maybe y'all might have to do a surrogate.
Yeah, but then again.
I don't know if the egg would have it. Yeah, so, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of variables to it. As a woman, I would not trust. I don't.
Would you let her? I'm ready to say, if you was a man, if you was a single woman, would you let a man sleep with you unprotected if he was undetectable?
No, and that's the scary part too about being a man or a woman. Like, some people that you read in like storybooks, and maybe some people do it in real life. Oh, when we meet, we're gonna go to the clinic together. We're gonna get tested. Unless you like checking this person's pocketbook or medicine cabinet, or you looking through their house, you could go through all those steps and it come up negative, but it could be a person where he just popping his pills like he should, so it is undetectable. And then you could be in love and find out 5-6 years later, like, this is what's going on, but he just been taking his medicine. That's scary.
It is scary.
And I feel like it just puts people at such risk. I don't want the world. Are you familiar with Scarlet Letter?
Yeah.
I don't want the world to be like Scarlet Letter, but I think that we should have to know and be able to make an informed decision as to whether or not, just like if somebody got herpes and then they don't currently have a flare-up, like we should be able to.
There's millions of people that think they don't have herpes, that they just get cold sores every year. No, you have herpes, and every November, every 11 months, you get an outbreak. We should have to know, because unfortunately not everybody's going to disclose that information, and it could be detrimental to somebody. And I also think that, to me, undetectable means it's just not detectable. It doesn't mean it's not there. So it could be these little, that don't mean I won't get it. I just might get it smallly at first, or a little bit at first, but undetectable to me doesn't mean you don't have it. It just means the machine can't detect it because it's so minute.
It's going to come up HIV negative.
Yeah, but it's still there though. So it's like, I'm not playing with that. No, not at all.
And I'm curious to know from a scientific standpoint.
And now that I think about it, I could never eat a girl out that has HIV.
Well,
never.
Well, even
you talking about being with somebody, like all that, it comes into play. Like we can't be having sex. Yeah, like I'm not eating you.
But now it makes me wonder, right? So your quote unquote quote pure blood that doesn't have any HIV in it, and this person's HIV blood that is just undetectable because they're taking their medicine. But does that mean that because a little bit of the HIV in their blood could your blood never had HIV in it, so it could very well give you
mutate.
Yeah, it could give you HIV, even though it may be undetectable in one person. If you give it to a person who has never had it, how could that impact them?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Hopefully people are being, and I know they're not, like that's reality, but hopefully more people than not are taking precautions, and if they know that they're in an undetectable status, wearing protection and not just hiding
tell people. Like communicate, tell people. You think, but I guess it's a good thing in our lifetime to see something that came in the 80s. It's in our lifetime be somewhat eradicated. Like it's not a terminal illness. We all would love to see when cancer comes off that list.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I mean, I know there's so many cancers out there that are not terminal, but it's on the list to be a terminal disease because there's so many other cancers that will kill you.
But you know what it makes me think about, and not to like look at the negative side of stuff. I remember in Africa, like, and we get these medications from them doing trials and things like that. But unfortunately, lives were lost, and I don't know to what extent that the current medication this was used, but there was a group of people in Africa where they were doing a trial for medication. And my thing is, with the large population of people that we knew that were infected with AIDS in Africa, why didn't they use some of them? But nevertheless, they infected this group of people to try medications on them, and some of those people died.
Yes, that's like that Tuskegee Airmen, that type of stuff. Let's give them.
But see, they didn't know. These people agreed to it for the financial gain because they were in a detrimental situation, but they died. But do you ever I can't say I've ever thought about it until right now. Why did AIDS ravage Africa so badly?
I don't know. They do a lot of fucking over there.
Do you really think it was that?
No, man. I'm sure there's some conspiracy theories behind that, but we can't get into that now. Before we move on, rest in peace to George Foreman. Big George Foreman died, passed away.
Not from AIDS. That was a weird segue. From AIDS,
but I just wanted to get that out the way. Condolences to his family and all his kids named George, his sons, his daughters, and everybody. He left a legacy. George was hated as a boxer when he was fighting Ali, and when he died, he was loved. I seen a meme that said the Foreman grill walks so the air fryer can fly. Yeah, and it was like, wow, man, like he opened the door and paved the way for shit to come.
And a Foreman grill blew up.
But everybody they shit on the Foreman grill because it was a piece of shit grill when you think about it. Like it had no buttons, you couldn't turn it up or down. It got hot as shit. You couldn't touch it. And the only new thing that came out when we fuck with it was the tray to catch the grease. Now,
but it came out with the extra
later
large.
On, they had a big one. And they might have had some shit that went up and down. But with the first little one, you couldn't do shit with it. No heat, no nothing. It just...
You could cook some hot dogs when it was wintertime and you couldn't turn the grill on outside.
Yeah, a burger, some sausage.
And put it on that thing. It was like you have grilled it outside.
But in hindsight now with technology, it just wasn't the best grill. That little frying pan one, it just wasn't the best grill.
It wasn't. But we made it work. Yeah. We've had several in our lifetime.
He sold the company, I think, early for like $130-something million. So, yeah. But just rest in peace to George Foreman. Great boxer, oldest heavyweight champion. He got the belt at like 46 years old. So just rest in peace to George Foreman and condolences to his family. There was a woman who, and I want to make a scenario. There's a woman who drowned a dog in an airport. She thought that she could fly with the dog, and she went to the counter and they told her, your dog needs shots. Obviously, if you had a dog, you can't just get shots and get on a plane. The dog has to have shots in his system for 30 days. That's why you got to do this shit months in advance before you're going to fly with a dog. So if you get shots on a Wednesday, you can't fly on Friday with the dog because it ain't had it in the system for a month. That's what I'm trying to say. So she goes to the counter. They tell her she don't have the paperwork to fly. She goes in the bathroom in the handicap stall, takes the leash and collar off the dog, leaves it there, drowns it in the toilet, and puts the body in a trash can. Gets on the plane and flies. A cleaner comes in, sees a leash and shit on the floor, looks in the trash can so he can change the trash, and this little fucking dog in there dead. So my question is, obviously I disagree with killing a dog. At what point are you in the airport and it's a flight you have to catch? Say your father, your mother's a funeral or something that you're going to miss, and then they're in the ground and you're not going to see them again. What has to be on the books that you can't miss this flight, that you would even think to do something with the dog?
Nothing. I would abandon the dog.
I was ready to say, I told people I would have let it just loose in the airport. I'd have went somewhere behind something and let it loose.
Or you take it in the bathroom, tie the leash to something and leave it before you kill it. Like, she could have left it.
She drowned it in the toilet.
And you figure, just thinking about how big the Philadelphia airport is, you take it to Terminal A, tie it in the bathroom, leave it, and your flight is leaving from Terminal E. It's going to take them a long time to get down to you. You leave the dog. That is she was angry, and that was misplaced anger.
Mad at the airport people.
Yeah, she was mad at the circumstances of the situation, and she felt like the dog was an inconvenience. And that kind of stuff is like, if you can do that on this, first of all, the fact that you cared enough about a dog to want to travel with it, and just that same couple hour period, you decide to kill it. Something's wrong. And that makes me think you're the kind of person that could hurt a child or something if it angers you or inconvenience you in some kind of way. Like you said, no matter what the circumstance was, you obviously must have loved this dog to pack it up and say, I'm going to travel wherever the hell you're traveling to, and then to decide to kill it in that same... and it had to be within an hour or so. Like, you could have just abandoned it.
And luckily a person went in there that got her when she landed.
That's crazy.
Woman from Florida.
And you think, even if you had abandoned it, they probably would have been mad, upset, like, you're not supposed to do this.
Left the dog
you left it, you abandoned the dog. But now I don't think you would get criminal charges.
No, you would. It would be like
pet abandonment?
Reckless endangerment of an animal or some shit like that, because you left a dog in the airport tied to a stall or something.
Okay, but now you killed it.
No water, no food. It's drinking dookie water. Like, that's not, you can't do that. You're going to get a charge for that.
But the charge is going to be much less. You might be able to beat that charge. You're not going to beat the charge of drowning it and putting it in a trash can.
And I think all you can get is cruelty to animals. I don't know what that carries at the max, but it's not like she's going to get 5-10 years in jail.
For killing a dog? You don't think she's going to get some time?
Some time, but not 5 years. I don't think that charge carries that now. Even if you give it the max, I don't think it carries 5 years, cruelty to animals. Just that charge alone. They can't charge her with murder or no shit like that.
Like, as a person, if I was her sibling, her parent,
she'd be cut off forever.
Not that she would be cut off, but I wouldn't trust you. Like, what's wrong with you?
So you're going to have her in your life, not trust her, and know she killed dogs.
I mean, I'm not like that attached to animals, but I'm going to look at you different. We probably wouldn't be as cool, but it's not like I'm never going to talk to you again. It's going to be like, you crazy.
And you didn't make a mistake and sit on a dog when you was high or some shit like that. You actually made a conscious decision to take the dog in the bathroom and kill it. Like, I've joked about that over, our relationship, because I saw it on a movie, we can kill a dog, but never would I would think, would I kill a dog? In what situation would you abandon the dog? If you was going to a funeral? Like, if you're going on vacation and you're taking a dog and they tell you can't fly.
Yeah, I'm not.
Are you abandoning the dog for vacation?
Probably. I mean, see, I don't know, because if I'm the kind of person that loved the dog enough to even think I was going to take it, I probably wouldn't be the kind of person that would abandon. I'm never taking a dog on a plane with me on vacation.
Like, hypothetical.
But I'm just saying, in that situation, I probably wouldn't, because, again, I'm obviously a dog lover. But if it's like a family emergency or something, if I got to get to Georgia, something happened to one of my kids or something, or well, you're going to be with me, but if God forbid, if we're separated and you're one place in the world and I'm another and I got to get to you, I'm leaving the dog. But, or, my sister, something happened, I'm leaving the dog. But yeah, like a vacation, probably not, because I probably love it enough to even want to bring it. So I probably wouldn't have been
mad at it, like, you little motherfucker, I got to take you back, get some shots, and wait a month to
but
bring you.
But
or
another
can you just
thing,
call somebody? You can't call
that's
somebody
what I'm
right
you
now
ain't have
to
nobody,
say, watch it.
Can you please come get the dog?
That's whole nother story.
You could have even called like the shelter and said, I don't want this dog anymore. If y'all don't come and get it, I'm going to abandon it. They probably would have ran to get it. I don't know. It's just nothing that would to kill the dog is not an option at all.
No,
that's not an option. But I
just
very
thought
well
this lady
see.
was so desperate. I thought to myself, she has to be going to a funeral of some sort where this person she's never going to see him again. By the time she gets there the next day, they're in the ground. So, because I don't think anybody that loves a dog enough, like you said, to bring it with you would kill it for a vacation, would kill it for, hey, I'm just going to visit my brother, or I'm going to visit my sister and they told me I can't take the dog, so I'm going to kill it. Like, I would think it has to be something so strenuous that, hey, it's a funeral that I have to make, and if I miss this plane and have to go tomorrow or the next day, once I find some shelter for the dog, the person's in the ground.
I think that was just some misplaced anger. But you would think, if you're this much of a dog lover, why didn't you do your due diligence? Like, I'm sure, okay, when we was flying the kids up here, because they're minors, you know how much small fine print I had to read about. We ended up not flying them up here. No, what I'm saying is, when you're trying to fly in a situation out of the norm, there's like a lot of fine print that you have to. So I'm sure she probably had to. There's a lot of information about flying a dog, and I'm sure that piece was probably included about the shots. Like, did you just ignore? Like, did she not read that and she just showed up at the airport with her dog?
I think she had paperwork, but I think, you know how people are. You think that you can get over, or you think you got what you need, and then they tell you, hey, your dog is missing a shot or two. And it's something, especially if you go in a certain place, hey, your dog needs this shot. And the rule is it's got to be in the dog system for a month. So you can't just be like, hey, I'm going to go to the vet, get the shot, and get a flight 8 hours later.
I would have forged some papers forged or something the night before I would have killed killing the dog is not an option.
Yeah, that's wild. That's crazy. That's just like top of the level. No empathy, no heart, no nothing. Because you couldn't have. I wanted to know how old the dog was. Because if you tell me the dog is 7 or 10 years old, it's like you had this fucking dog this long, and because you couldn't take a flight, you just murdered it and put it in the trash can.
And that, you know what? And this makes me feel sad for the maintenance man. Can you imagine?
Left his leash and collar in the handicap stall on the hook and put him in the trash can.
We had a traumatic. No, I don't want to.
I don't want to go down there. But we got to move on.
But like, just to think, the maintenance man doing his job. He showed up for work that day. He never did he think he's going to encounter something like that.
Like he do all the time. I'm putting a new bag in, and it's like
he should have went in there and found
it's a golden dude
like barking or wagging his tail. Like, oh, here's a person, not like a freaking. Or she could have put the damn dog in the maintenance closet. An airport is so big. She had so many options before doing that. Yeah. She was just angry.
Yeah. I read a statement today, and it ties back to something we talked about. I'm going to read this statement. My kids are not the most important thing to me. My wife came first. They will leave. She will be by my side until death. In the end, it's just me and her. And this goes back to the question of, if you could save your wife or your 10-month-old baby, and you only could choose one in a hypothetical situation, which would you choose? I would always choose you, because I would think, even if you were, you hated me for letting the baby go, I would think we're dealing with the same thing. Somehow we'll come together, and maybe we could try to make another kid. That's my thought process behind that. In this situation, I feel the same way. Like, my kids are important to me, but they're not the most, because you chose me. I chose you. Like, my kid, I had that. I love you. him or her, and I'm gonna do the best that I can with them. But it's different, the love that I have for you, because we chose each other. And it's like we can go through the ups, the downs, and whatever life it throws at us, whether we lose a kid or do whatever. I feel like with you, with our friendship, with our love, we can get through it. Mm-hmm. So I just believe this statement. And in the comments, lots of people were like, lots of men was like, yeah, I feel like that. And then lots of people were like, no, how could you care about somebody that's not your blood? Your thoughts?
I do agree, and it's biblical. You know, that your spouse is supposed to come before, like, it's God and then your spouse. I do believe that, and I do feel that if we had children, and I feel like it's healthy. Like, you can't, and I'm saying this, of course, from a non-parental place, but I do believe that in a household, in a family, the parents have to be on one accord and put each other first in order to more healthily raise the kids,
project happiness,
and give that, and give well, not just happiness, peace, that alignment. Like, I think that's what's
like
so important for children to see alignment. Not to say parents are always going to agree on everything, but they need to see that alignment and not feel like daddy is all the way over here, mommy's all the way over here. They're completely different. Their views, their values, their morals, their ethics, like what they allow us to do. Now, of course, you know, it may be some circumstance like, okay, daddy let us sneak and have ice cream and mommy didn't, but not like mommy snuck and let my boyfriend spend a night and daddy would, you know what I mean? There needs to be alignment. And I think that comes through that love and respect for each other, because if one of you put the children first before the other, that's going to wreak havoc, I think. Mm-hmm. So I agree with that. Now, going back to the baby overboard, you know, whether it's that I think is a different scenario when you talk about death, and it's a horrible scenario for anybody to be put in that place. But I do believe when you're living and breathing and in a family setting, I agree with that 100%.
One person I asked at work, they asked their wife that the question of who would you save, and their wife told them, if you saved me, I'd hate you forever. And you know what I said? She'll get over it, because y'all are going through the same thing. Y'all both lost the same thing. So she can be mad at you the first 2, 3, 5 years, but you're not going to be mad at me forever. I'm the only one that understand your pain. Yeah.
But do you really?
It was my son too. It was my baby too. What the fuck? I lost it too. We both lost a kid. But I saved you.
But you chose me. It's like, yes, we both lost a kid, but you chose my life over that kid. You know what I mean? It's so it's a little different where, like,
I don't see how.
Because like you had the choice, because it could be a lot of stuff involved with the mom too. Survivor's remorse, and in addition to grief of missing their child. So it's like an extra layer of something that you don't feel. Like, you just know, I got my wife, and unfortunately we don't have our child. But
so I'm grieving the child. I'm also, I might feel like I made a decision that I got to live with. That's heavy too. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not like one outweighs or
no,
one
I don't think
worse.
One outweighs. It's like we both have the same, and then we both have something different.
Right, but we in the same ballpark. Yeah. So if you're looking around for somebody to understand you, hey, don't forget, I know you're mad at me, but we can get through this together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's my thought process behind that.
And we've talked about that, you know, and I know there are families that have had to endure that. Like, God forbid, childbirth. It's something that's happening, and you know, the mom might not make it, or like if the mom makes it, then the child won't make it, or we can save the child, but the mom might not make it. And you've always told me you would always choose me, and
what am I doing coming home with a baby without you? What the fuck? Nah, I'm grieving that I just lost you, and I had to make this heavy fucking decision. What am I doing when people go back to their lives? Yeah, people gonna come in, oh yeah, you need help. But when people go back to work and go back to their family and go back to their lives, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing when I go to work? What are you going, man? I'm going to put him on my chest in a patrol.
You're going to do like moms do when they go to work.
Crazy.
The baby will be in daycare, or the baby will be with auntie.
Man, you crazy. Like, I need my wife here to do that. And hopefully if she here, we can try to recreate this. Like, we ain't going to make the same one, but we could try to be parents again is what I'm saying. I
get it. And I understand. It's just such a difficult. I think. Well, for you, you like you said,
not a difficult decision at all. 3 grams. I saw a guy on a podcast. He was a undercover cop. This dude's story was amazing. He infiltrated the mob, neo-Nazis, bikers, a biker group called the Outlaws, pedophiles, and the cartels. He's 53 years old. He looked like a biker. Ponytail, tattoos all over his face. Some of the stories he told of neo-Nazis, he's like, these guys, the stuff, they're only online. So, and he goes, we infiltrated, he worked for the FBI. He's an FBI undercover agent. He worked for the FBI, so he gets in these groups online. And guess what the government comes to the conclusion it comes to when they deal with neo-Nazis?
I don't know.
Nothing's happening. It's all drunk talk.
Oh.
It's freedom of speech. They can have guns and they just talk about doing shit. They never really do shit. They're waiting for the day that the race war pops off, but none of them is going to start it. They're just doomsday prepping for the day of the race war. So we got to let them be. He infiltrated for 6 months, and that was the end result in that case. Then he did the bikers and a group called the Outlaws, where he infiltrated them, and deaths, murder for hires, all kinds of sick shit that the Outlaws was doing. Then he infiltrated the pedophiles, where they told him this guy in prison was locked up for raping a 10-year-old boy. And he told his cellie, I'm going to get somebody to kill the kid. So his cellie was like, fuck that shit. I'm going to the FBI. Went to the FBI, said, yo, this sick-ass dude's talking about killing the kid because he raped him. So the FBI called him. He said he was a hitman. So the pedo put him on his visitor list. He comes up there. He acts like an exterminator. I'm an exterminator. I get pests out the way. This and this and that. They got him on recorder because when he held the picture up to say, is this the pest you want done? The pedo said, that's him. You wouldn't call a bug a him. Mm-hmm. So they got him that way. Then he went down to down at the cartels on the Mexican border. He said his first week there, they found 8 heads in a van. Just heads. Then he said the cartel, he infiltrated for a year and a half. The cartel had a midget with a big dick that they used to make fuck people, rape people, women and men. He was like, the cartel is a different level. It's a different world of one time they put a PVC pipe up a man's ass and then put barbed wire up in the pipe so it would go up there and then ripped his asshole out. He was like, the level of torture in the cartel is insane.
Do you think we should be talking about that?
Yeah, he talked about it.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I'm not telling nothing I just didn't hear.
Okay.
I'm just saying, his name was Scott Payne. I'm just saying, his story sounds so cool and great, like he had this awesome life, but I would not want to do something like
because
FBI
I feel like you
undercover
can't have
agent.
your real life.
Yeah, he said his marriage almost was fucked up. I mean, he still got his wife from high school and all that shit, but so many missions he went on. I just thought it was a crazy story, and yeah, I wanted to share that with you.
Thank you for sharing. They should make like a movie about it.
It was insane listening to his story. It was like, damn, he did so much shit. And when he was like, my first time at the border in Mexico, we found 8 heads in a van.
That's sad when people die and like their families have to like bury them and they never find their head.
8 heads in a van, man. Yes. I'm like, check me out of here. Like, I don't want to be down here messing with you. You want me to go undercover with these people?
Yeah.
Nah, they putting pipes up people's butts with barbed wire in it and then ripping out your intestines. Nah, that's a different level to think up some shit like that. Gram 2. What do you think about Marvin Sapp asking the congregation for $40,000?
So I seen the headline, but I didn't listen to it. Supposedly, like, he told the ushers to lock the doors and stuff. So I don't know how serious he was about locking the doors.
Oh, he was dead serious. I saw the video. He was dead serious.
About locking the doors?
Yeah, he told the ushers to lock the doors, and then he kind of like stopped talking until, like, no, lock the doors. Like, yeah, lock the doors. No, lock them. Like that type of lock. So it was like they was
like,
getting
who do you
locked.
think you're Joe Clark? See, me, first of all, it says in the Bible, God loves a cheerful giver. You're not going to force me to give anything. I do, and I just would have automatically felt like a rebel. Like, I'm leaving. Like, you're not gonna
bill or some shit. Like, why such? Like, I need
$40,000. He had a bill. It's not uncommon that churches, and I've never agreed to this approach. I've been in churches before where, you know, they take offering and they count it, and maybe there is a certain quota that they wanted to meet for whatever reason. I don't think it's a bill, but maybe they do have to pay stuff, or they just are fundraising, whatever the reason is, not like a personal bill. And they might be like, you know, after they count the money, all right, we $2,000 short. You know, come on, y'all. We know, dig in your pockets, dig deep in your heart, sow a seed. God loves you. And, you know, that'll kind of encourage more people to come up and give, or more people to come up and give money. I don't agree with that. I just don't. I don't agree with that approach. So that it's not uncommon for churches to take that approach. 40,000. Now, from what I hear, he was like in like a huge, like one of the mega churches, and people were saying like if everybody would have gave $20, they could have hit the 40,000 mark. So it's not like he was asking for astronomical amounts from people, but like that 40,000 could have been hit. The whole lock the door thing would have just put a nasty taste in my mouth. Like, who? Like, this is kidnapping. Like, you're not gonna lock me in anywhere. Like, and again, you that shouldn't be the approach. You don't force. God doesn't even want anybody to be forced to give. Give from your heart. Now, some people won't, and then also people don't realize the giving is not always monetary. Give of your time. Give of, you know, your service, which in turn is time, but. Yeah,
I'm your not. Closet out, old clothes. Take it down to the church.
Yeah, charity, like good charity, not your trash, but good charity. I'm not with that forcing people. You know, I don't feel like. Again, I seen people saying like in the comments like he must have had a bill to pay. Again, if you've ever been in church, it's not uncommon.
I didn't see that. I didn't read the comment. I'm surprised I said the same thing.
Yeah. I'm not. It's not uncommon that you know, churches. No, again, that number is really high, but considering he's in a large church, and they said, you know, people were online. Somebody, it was one meme that was like closing the laptop, like
I'm done with that.
Like you can't lock me in here, but you know, to each their own. I'm not with that whole philosophy of giving, that whole mega church philosophy and trying to guilt people into giving. Let people get what they want, and that's between them and God. You know, real quickly, when we were younger in church, you would get a box of envelopes, right? And they were numbered. So, like, if you were church member number 200, your envelope was number 200. And your envelopes were marked for each week, 52 weeks of the year. And you would put your offering in the envelope, and you would go up, and that's how you would give your offering every week. Even as a kid, I remember my grandma and grandpa were like a trustee or a deacon or something, and my grandma would ask me why I never used my envelopes. I never used my envelopes because I felt like it ain't y'all business to track what I give. Like, that's between me and God. So I would always just put my offering in the plate, but I never would use my envelopes because that ain't your business. I mean, and maybe somebody can give me a different perspective and feel like
no, it's not. All that shit is set up to shame you, to call you into the deacon's office one day for them to say hey, you know, over the years we've been looking, and say to you nicely, you know, we could use a little more.
Well, no, I don't. They would never do. Well, at church I was at, they would never do that. But I'm sure, and I was a kid, so they probably wasn't necessarily looking at me. My grandma probably just felt like, oh, she never seen my envelopes. But I'm sure they whispered and talked about it amongst themselves. They would never.
Yeah, but for what reason? That's what I'm saying. They're using that information for something. They're not using it just for gossip and small talk. Just to say, hey, she give a little, she give a little. They're using it for some reason. Them numbers on them envelopes and that tracking is for a reason. Maybe I'm saying the wrong reason, but it ain't for
I'm just
giggles.
saying at the church. Now, I'm not saying no churches will call you and ask you about it.
Right.
The church I grew up in, they didn't do that, but I'm sure they talked about it behind the scenes. But I just wasn't with like humans, the people, flesh and blood like me, tracking what I'm doing. Like, that's between me and God. And if I'm upholding my end of the bargain, he'll know. And if I'm not, he'll know. But I was never with that.
Yeah, and you know how I feel about the whole church thing. So it'd be a scam to keep the church open. It's a good place to hear the word, and some churches be dope as hell. But once they start pulling out them baskets and locking doors and all this kind of shit, nah.
No, like, I mean, you need offering. Like the
no,
church
offering
has
is
no
fine if that's what's in your heart. Offering is fine. You're supposed to be able to give $10 or $10,000, whatever you want to give, whatever's in your heart.
But you ain't locking me in here.
And you're not forcing me to by tracking my money or putting guilt on me. You know, by saying, hey, you know, something's wrong in the church and we need like it's this business, this y'all business. All y'all get paid here, whether it be a little bit or a lot, but y'all get paid here. That sounds like a you problem. Yeah. Last gram.
Sex stuff?
If we both were single, what's our number a month that we would have to make for us to do sex stuff? Sex stuff. That's why I didn't say fucking. Sex stuff. OnlyFans. Let's just say you could get a deal on OnlyFans to make $100,000 a month. Mm-hmm. Is that an adequate number as a single woman to do OnlyFans for yourself?
Give me like more
sex
description of sex stuff.
Does it? Okay, let's take fucking off the table because I love you, my wife, and I ain't gonna disrespect you like that. But like sex stuff, putting on a bikini, showing low cut shit, doing dances, twerking, bust it open, stroke a dildo, just shit, like just sex stuff. Squirt something on your tit, maybe pop a tit out on some exclusive content. Come to the camera with just pasties on, like sex stuff.
No, so in my
not porn, but sex stuff.
In my mind, right? We friends.
Yeah.
We not husband and wife right now. We friends, right? So I always thought to myself, like, if I had an OnlyFans, like if I was single, this would be my shtick. I would set up a camera outside of my shower. And I would take a shower, like recording myself, but you couldn't see me. You just see the silhouette of my body.
Right.
Like, I might put a leg up and wash my leg so you see, like, from my knee down. I might stretch my arm out, but you're never physically seeing my skin. Like, that would be my shtick. That's as far as I would feel like, because I feel like there's so much nudity and like that would be
that number.
100,000 a month is great. 50,000 a month.
Okay, so so for $100,000 a month, that's the deal. $100,000 a month, you're guaranteed to make. Would you do the sex stuff, or would the shower thing be as far as you would go, or would you put on a bikini? Would you bust it open? Would you twerk? No. When I say bust it open, I mean with a bikini
like
on, just opening your legs.
Stuff. Nah, like that's like I'm not. Yeah, I wouldn't.
$200,000 a month.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing.
So there's no number that will make you do as a single woman, not like just...
No, because because you got to think. I would hope that I didn't want to be single all my life. These videos could live in perpetuity. I'm not. I don't want to. I just wouldn't feel comfortable on there shaking my ass, busting it open, being naked, like doing anything like to that extent with my body. On camera, on the internet. And again, OnlyFans, it could be a subscription, but people can save that or record it on their phone and like that could live in perpetuity. That's not something that I would want to do. I don't think there's any amount of money that I can think that I would feel comfortable in my right mind and doing it. Now, if I got drunk or was high, but in my right mind sitting here, I could not. And I'm not a shy or prudish person.
I think if I had an OnlyFans, it would only have to be if I was a single guy and I was into the weird shit like that. It would be like the camera would be set up from my chest to the bottom of my shorts, and I would beat off for $100,000 a month. And I don't even care if you use my real name, because I can say but you're never going to see my face. Mm. So from my chest to here is all you're going to see every night. I'll come in there, I'll stroke it, I'll prep my peas, and I'll do my thing. If I know I'm getting $100,000 a month,
you're disgusting.
I'm single.
My shower video, that wouldn't make me no money?
I don't know. I'm sure it's a niche video, so I'm sure that's like putting your feet in cake. There's people out there that like to see women behind a shower curtain and silhouettes of them. Yeah. There's a gang of dudes out there who like that. I would
play music, like I would wash up my whole body, but you would never see my face. And you wouldn't see no boobs. You would see a little thigh, a little knee.
Drop the soap and bend over and push your butt out the curtain. Not like out to see. I'm talking about so the curtain could bump out a little bit and the person know you bending over. They'll be like, that's the money shot right there. That's the money shot. Like, wait till you hear the soap drop.
Yeah, that would be like my modest porn. Like, that's the extent I would go to. I just would not want to be on the internet.
Or you go on there with a Pooh Shiesty. And it's like, I got the Pooh Shiesty on and some shades. So nobody know who it is.
That's crazy. Yeah, people would know you. I mean, at some point, you might meet a man, they'd be like, this body look familiar. And then I gotta, then they like, this tattoo, I've seen this tattoo before. You like, oh my God.
They got makeup for that shit. You gotta do it right. They got makeup for that shit.
But I would do feet videos, like step in cake, step in whatever, not whatever, but I would do feet.
Somebody say shit?
No, nothing like
stepping in scat. They got a lot of scat videos.
No, I would step in cake. I would step in eggs.
So you wouldn't step in shit for $100,000 a month?
I can't do anything with poop, except for flush it. I would not do anything.
That's a wrap. We're talking about poop. That's a wrap. A2TP Podcast, episode 220. Coming to a close.
Oh, God.
It's your boy, International Walt.
It's your girl, Tosh, the co-hostess with the most.
Y'all know the platforms. Go to them. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Leave a funny thing. We'll leave something funny. If y'all fuck with us, we'll fuck with y'all. Peace. I need something.